Mr. Harper. How you doing, buddy? Cool. Let's get to work. All right, so we got QQQs. This is, you know, we had a little, right? We had a really nice ramp yesterday. Market was up huge. We had a little bit of an end-of-day fade. It wasn't a monster one. I mean, we gave back probably half the gains of the day. That's okay. That's kind of what just happens in this market. We've got to be mindful now. You see how you got like two solid filled candles over here. So what that's telling you is, right, the close has been lower than the open. So there are fades coming in kind of end of day, so on and so forth. We'll have to be mindful. We've had 3 green days in a row, but we've also had 2 days where we fade into the close. Do we get a day 3 on the upside? And also, do we, you know, keep fading off this strength? Hard to tell. Just remember, as we get to the top of the range, the risk gets higher and higher, right? Versus the bottom of the range. We're on day 3 of the market run, so definitely be mindful. Like if we get one more big push, you may start to see the fading come in a little bit more aggressively. That's just the nature of the game. Range trading is tough. How you trade in a bull market when the market is just trending up every day is all sorts of aggression, overnight holds. You're not looking at the market and you're just sashaying around like a degenerate, throwing money at stuff and everybody's making it rain. Range trading is much more tricky. We do have a little bit of room left in the markets, but we are fading off end of day a lot. And so, right, you've got to prepare for 2 different options. Market shoots up, you need longs. Market goes back short, right? You need short, so on and so forth. There's just no way around it. You got to prepare for both every single day. We'll see how we go. But we got this a little bit of room left, right, to the top of the range. If you look at the QQQs, take this trend line here, right? That's kind of your, you know, top of the range. And, you know, same thing with the SPY, right? The SPY has a more defined range. It's 280, right? So we're still a little bit a ways from it, but see these solid, we've already been fading off strength. So we'll have to kind of be mindful of that. You know, use like an hourly time frame if you're having trouble kind of figuring out where all the angles are. Let's take a look at the list for today. This UXIN was super hot on yesterday. My guess is when you get a reversal candle like this, it's a short on all bounces. I'd watch this thing for any kind of push towards 9 or ideally a break over 9 and a break back under for a potential rubber band short. What do you need to see a rubber band short? You need overbought stochastics. You need stock completely outside its upper Bollinger Band. That'd be this really light kind of line that's hanging out and, you know, hanging out in the woods over there. Obviously you want climactic volume. We got a little bit of that yesterday. So watch this thing on the push towards 9. Ideally, I mean, you could double top right at 9. Ideally for me, I like it when they kind of break over and then they break back under. Catches everybody off guard. That's what we like, right? We know that this thing also drops like it's just hot, right? Look at like, right, how hot it could drop. Shorting is tough though, so just be mindful of it. You can get squeezed really easily, so you stop losses and all that fun stuff. This QD had news out that, you know, they're doing a stock buyback, blah, 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 guidance. You're already starting to see the push on this thing. This is an earnings play. It was a former IPO stock that's been beaten down. IPO stocks, when they have good earnings, that's a surprise or something that, you know, is unsuspecting, they can have some good pushes, especially in the morning. So we'll watch this thing for an ORB. One thing with QD is going to be that it will have enough range to actually ORB this. A lot of times we trade thicker stocks. A thicker stock, you got to hit it on a pullback, right? Something like a QD, it should have enough range. You can orb life that thing. Sienna busting loose over here. You can see it's kind of entering a multi-year high, or it could be even an all-time high from what I can see. Watch this thing. If it holds over 35, we'll be able to take this thing for some day trades. Man, I was hoping this little Oxfam would hold. this thing is going to be hot for a potential short. The SSR is going to be on it, so just be mindful. SSR stocks, what I've been noticing is we're getting like the quick shred for the like first 2, 3, 4, or 5 minutes at the open, and then, right, they like pop up and squeeze. Then you got to hit it on a VWAP fizzle, you know, something like did you see like NBIX yesterday, right? You got like a really, really quick shred on it. This is happening a lot with the SSR stocks. You get like this quick shred at the open. A lot of times it's when it breaks like pre-market lows or something like that. So be mindful of the levels that you're making pre-market, right? So you get like these kind of quick shreds, and then they pop up, and then they, you know, they sit around for a while, and then they go back and fizzle, right? And, you know, when they VWAP fizzle, that's a much tighter pattern, much more higher probability pattern. Obviously at the open though, it's really fun. And some of the guys are really fast. They got very limber fingers, and so they can hit those buttons and really catch them at the first few minutes. Other people cannot. Dun, 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 dun. What else here? And then I got this TLRD I watch also. Bam, watch this. So pre-market lows 1450. Right, we'll watch this thing. It gets shredded under that 1450, then ORBs, or quick pullback buys, you're good. But if it like starts to pop up at the open and then hits the 9 EMA, you may not have enough room because you'll have all this kind of congestion over there from the pre-market. It's always good to remember your levels. You don't got to sit there and like, you know, you don't have to sit there and really take notes on them, right? Just use your brain. Right? Every stock has a level. Memorize it and do what you got to do. And otherwise, there's a couple other ones. This ASNS may go really any day now. You can see over here, kind of 425's been its lid. 425, 450. This is the hourly chart on it. Keep an eye on that. I'm trying to stay away from these little penny poppers, but you know, every blue moon you get stuck back in it. Twilio broke out yesterday. Had really some heat. I keep this on watch for red to green today. Man, the heat on this thing was awesome. You can see here, like on the orb life, right? That's about as clean of an ORB as you're going to get. Had $6, $7 range on that thing. That 100 could be a lid, but typically what happens when stocks break over 100, they have quite a bit of juice usually. They tend to run the 120, 130s historically, so just something to keep in mind of. Also, always put the TVIX on the list. You know, the TVIX been saving us every single day. When the market starts to fade, we really end up longing this thing and catching some nice shreds. So, like, usually this is kind of, in the end of day fades, this is what you want to see. Hat tip, Charles Browning. At the end of the day, like, when the market's strong, TVIX goes down, right? But when the market starts to stall out, you'll see this a lot end of day. Like, it'll sit there and base at lows. Right? And okay, you're like, okay, it's basing at lows, but like, how do you know when to buy, right? When those moving averages converge, they get tight, and then you start to come back and you make your first high or low. That's usually the spot where, you know, you can hit these things, and then you could get yourself like really some good action. That's been kind of saving us the last few days when the market fades. So these are the shreds for today. You know, everything else I think is going to be a dud. Let's see what everybody else is looking to. Yeah, you can put this LQMT on your list. You know, probably the thing's going to zero. You may catch a 1 or 2 day shred on it. Not my cup of tea. You know, I like cleaner patterns. So, like, I don't have a pattern necessarily here, right? It's just kind of stuck at resistance. So, for me, it's a tweener, but, you know, I could see the momentum on it. Like, look, my thing is this. If you're going to trade, like, a penny stock, I don't want one that's, like, moving up, like, 1%, 5%, 10%, right? If I'm going to trade like a sub 20 cent stock, that thing better be moving around like 200, 300% that day. You know what I mean? That's when I want to shred that thing. TTD you can put on your watch list too. I didn't put it on mine, but it was poking up just because the spread on it. You know, I think, what was it, 2 weeks ago, man, I was down like 3 days in a row. And one thing I noticed from like reviewing my trades and stuff, all the losses were coming on high spread stocks, like fucking UGAZ. Sorry for the swearing. So I'm just trying to stay away from the high spread stock. TTD's got the pattern. the spread on it could be 50, 60 cents. So for me, it's a no-go. But for you, you're probably a lot more disciplined than me. You could go with it. You know, TRY looks like a short. You know, obviously got shredded yesterday. You know, if this thing pops up, I'd watch this thing for a green to red on this thing. What up? Hey, Mr. Wobrowski. Tell Robin I said hi. Hey, Amy, how you doing? All right, good. All day. What's the top? What's the top for today? Mr. House, how you doing? Good. All right, well, you know what we got to do? It's boom boom time. Oh, yeah. Anybody got anything they want to discuss? Hey, Eddie, how you doing, buddy, by the way? Anybody got anything they want to confess or discuss today before we shred? All right, good. I'm open for confession. You could put, yeah, Adil on the list too, of course. It's got a little bit of shred to it. Man, trying to stay out of trouble right now. You know what I mean? These little bastards get me sometimes. Oh, yeah. All right, cool. All right, guys. You know what we got to do. Shred time. Hey, by the way, guys, remember a webinar December 17th. So, as always, I'll see everybody there. You guys are more than welcome to come into the chat room and hang out with us. I'll be trading live all day, every day, as you know. Peace in the Middle East, my friends.